But we're going to take you around. So I actually started filming a few days ago, so I'm going to take you back in time here in a second and kind of show you some of the precautions we took, and then we will pop back on, talk about where we stand post, well, for the most part, post all the really, really cold stuff, and then someone's baking something.
My favorite time of year, baking season.
Back in time. So it's currently Wednesday before Christmas. We have a very cold snap coming in tomorrow, as the rest of the country is too. So we're going to show you some of the precautions we're taking and or have taken. And I know, before everybody says anything, I know we can take this and go to Florida. Well, they're cold too, because I just got a notification for down there that falling iguana thing is happening again. So if you've ever seen that, that's weird, by the way. But yeah, we're not. We're here for the holidays. We want to be with our families, and our families are here. So here we are, 0 degrees. Hey, it could be like -20 like it's going to be in Wisconsin. Negative. Nope, not doing that. So we're going to get into it a little bit today, and then we'll come back and show you some of the precautions that we've taken, some of the things we've added to the rig to help us out during the winter. Let's go. So right out of the gate, it's important to know that we don't like RV skirting. So RV skirting is something that you can put around your rig to help airflow from going underneath. There are different options like RV air skirts that you inflate. We are contemplating doing that. We subscribe to the fact that we don't want to be in cold weather for the most part. So we're trying actively not to buy anything that promotes us being in cold weather. So also, when you do the actual skirting, sometimes you have to put those little push pin buttons on the outside of your rig. I don't want to do that. I think it looks bad when you don't have the skirting on. So we're not going to do that. All right. That was my little tidbit, so we're going to let air flow the way it is. Now I'm going to the store. All right, well, we're currently out running around, and first of all, I got my hair cut, so hopefully you all appreciate that I actually do get my hair cut. One thing I thought of when I was running around was this right here. You can't really see it. So what this is, it's a winterization anti-gel if you have a diesel engine. So I forgot about this last year until it was too late, and I remembered this year. So we're going to be below freezing. And specifically, a couple of times we're going to get down right around 0 degrees here in North Texas. So I don't keep a lot of this on hand because we live in the RV. But if you're going to be in those conditions and you own a diesel engine, you got to make sure to put this in so that your diesel fuel doesn't gel up. So that's just tip 1 today so far. Make sure and get that, and then just a small little funnel. I know I have a funnel back on the rig in our maintenance bin, but I'll keep that. This one will last about 250 gallons, so for me that's about 4 or 5 fill-ups, somewhere in there. But we'll be adding this in later on today as well once we get back to the rig. All right, so in preparation for the cold, I wish that was in preparation for Christmas, but in preparation for the cold, we've done a couple of things, most of which are all on the service side. I know, it's the non-fun side, but it is the side that you have to pay attention to. So let's start off with the tanks. So because it's going to be below freezing for about 2, maybe 3 days, what we did is we filled our freshwater tank completely, and then we have tank heaters on everything else, and so we turn those all on. Also, we are going to do a black tank flush. So we're going to let it rip, like the Hanks like to say, and that's going to allow us to kind of just function. Honestly, Lauren and I, we could probably go a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks with the size of our tank on a black tank. Don't need to. We normally dump every week no matter what. We are way early on a dump, but we're going to go ahead and do it. I always put about 5 gallons down once it's flushed out and done. That's just to add water. You can never have enough water in your black tank. Don't want a poop pyramid, so let's knock the tanks out. So if you notice, I actually have flow meters. Just a real easy little thing to do. That tells me exactly how much water, and I say exactly, reasonably, how much water goes in the tank. So when I'm doing a black tank flush, that'll allow me to do a kind of backfill to let dump. And so I just pay attention to that, set my timer based on my flow rate, and that gives me a little bit of a head start. But for now, let's pull that black tank. Whee! While the fun of the black tank starts to happen, let's talk about temperature. So being aware of your temperature is super important, simply because if you're below freezing in your bays, that means your pipes are going to freeze. So we have what's called a 4-season coach, and I'm using that term loosely. but that just means that there's a layer of insulation and then everything else. We also have ducted heat throughout, so there's a duct in this front storage. There's actually one back here behind where you can't really see or get to. It's behind the wall. I've seen it. I've been back there, like we did the solar install. And then in the very back, there's another one. So what I did is I bought this little, the brand name is GOVEE, I believe, but it's a little Bluetooth sensor that has a gateway for the Wi-Fi, so I can check it from anywhere. And it's just on my phone. It's kind of a home automation company. But now I've got them in a couple different bays. So in fact, let me just show you real quick. I am currently in our front bay, or the one that's actually right underneath the pin, the awkward one, that one. It looks a little different. We may have installed some things in here. Don't worry, that video's coming. Remember at the beginning of the video I said we're out of order? It's coming, don't worry. So we'll go into more explanation of what's in here, but for the purpose of cold weather, it actually matters very much what's in here. So recently we upgraded our battery system and allowing us to boondock and do more things. And by doing that, we added lithium batteries, specifically Big Beard batteries, lithium batteries. Big Beard battery, lithium batteries. I think I got that right, Todd. So AGMs you don't necessarily have to do much to. They're not the most efficient things in the world. You can really only use them to about 50%, same as lead acid, all those other ones. Lithium works great. It just doesn't like the cold. That's the only problem with lithium. So we did a couple of things. One, right underneath me, you'll see it in a second. Right underneath me, there's one of those little temperature gauges that comes to my phone. So our goal is to really just keep these above freezing. So we're not trying to like overly heat the front cap. For the most part, it's fine. It's going to get down to 0 a couple times. So in building the system, and you'll get the more detailed version of this soon, we actually left our existing 12-volt system in place, which means we left our old inverter. So we have a 2,000-watt inverter off of the main system. Let me just show you. So this is actually our old 2,000-watt Magnum Pearson wave inverter that pretty much powered the fridge while we went down the road off of our 12-volt system. Well, since we upgraded, again, soon to be seen, we still left this as kind of some redundancy. It is not in line with the other inverters that we bought, so we didn't expand on this, but we went ahead and left it in as almost, like I said, something were to happen. Let's say for some reason the new inverters or the battery system failed, we would still be able to power our fridge off of this. So backup plan essentially is the best way to think of that. But there is an outlet on the side of it. We installed this little guy. You can see it's at 60, so it must have gotten to 60 in here. But you can turn the temperature up. In fact, you just heard it kick on there. And it just pushes out. It's just a little teeny weeny ceramic heater is all it is. So that will help keep the basement storage nice and toasty while it is freezing cold outside and help maintain these batteries so we don't have to go buy more.
Bailey, are you ready for the cold? Mishka is built for the cold.
Well, good morning. It's pretty early in the morning. It's only about 6:30. The sun is kind of starting to come up. It looks a lot brighter than it really is, again, because we have a low aperture camera. But the front is on our doorstep. It's starting to come through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's probably about maybe 30 minutes away from us, so a little bit sooner than I thought. I thought I'd have till 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not. It's like 6:30, so we need to get everything buttoned up as far as the fresh water. It only got down to about 40 last night, so we're going to check this front bay real quick one last time. I showed you guys that yesterday, so I'm not going to show you again. And then we need to get the fresh water disconnected, go ahead and get that hose drained out so that that water just doesn't just sit in there. Give it a little bit of an opportunity. I was hoping to give it like an hour. It's going to get less than that with the front moving through. Yeah, and just kind of button everything up, pull the gray tank one last time on both of them, just go ahead and get those empty. I just turned the tank heaters on, so the rig itself is in pretty good shape. We just have to execute all the stuff. So I'm going to knock that out real fast, and I will get back with you. And just like that, it's buttoned up. This light's coming up a little bit more, but the rig is completely self-sufficient for water now and power. We still are on we're not disconnecting the power for no reason, but if we were to lose power in a cold spell like this, we would be able to sustain for a little while until we needed to recharge the batteries. That's where a portable off-board generator might come in handy. So that's kind of next on the list of things. So, but for now, that's getting ready for a winter storm. We're there. Yeah. So the good news about that is we get to move on to some Christmas stuff now. You always have to be diligent and be aware of what's happening with the rig, but you know, this is, now that we're in this position, we can kind of move forward. And then as the temperatures get above freezing or close to freezing, we can dump the tanks a little bit, add a little more water if we need to, but we just kind of keep operating like that to keep everything above that insulation line. So, yay. Well, it is a few weeks later and we are post our winter storm that...
Snowpocalypse.
It didn't snow.
It still was cold.
It was cold. So, we survived.
Yes, we did.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
I think that we would have been benefited if there was an easier way to see how much propane we had left in each tank. Because it never fails, a propane tank always runs out in the middle of the night when it's the coldest.
Yeah, it was about 1 a.m. and we do the trick where you leave one on, one off.
Yep.
The other one was full, so it wasn't like we weren't going to have heat, but...
You just have to go out there and switch it over.
Yeah, she woke me up and it was about 1 in the morning and it was about 55-ish degrees inside the rig, so... not the end of the world. We were talking about that earlier today. Like, it's one of those, nobody did anything wrong. It's everything worked exactly what we thought we did.
Yeah.
It's just the 6-hour window you don't want it to be in.
That's right. The best thing that I did was my heated blanket that I still use every day.
And you did. I got for you.
Yes, he did. He did. It was wonderful.
So we actually both had heated blankets. Normally we don't let the dogs sleep up on the bed. Well, Mishka still can't sleep on the bed. Too much hair, too much chaos.
Yeah.
But we did let the lab, Bailey.
Yeah, she was cold. We let her.
And now she's begged every night since. But we let her get up there just to stay warm. So,
of course.
Very manageable.
Absolutely.
We like it a little cooler in the rig to begin with. So we really didn't put it much above about 64 in here. So now if you have that tolerance where you're like, it's got to be 74, you're going to burn propane a lot faster than we did.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't know that I would change just a whole lot else.
No, I wouldn't. I think we did pretty good.
So I wore my Wisconsin stuff just to prove that I can handle it. I can't.
He can't.
I love my relatives, but they're crazy for staying up there in the winter.
He had on a parka and a hat just like I did.
Yep, absolutely. So, well, there you go. Hopefully this helped you in some way when you get ready to winter camp, or, you know, do what we did at the beginning. Do what we said at the very beginning of the video and just go south.
That's right.
Follow 72. But if this did help you, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for us, as always, just leave them in the comments below.
You got it. And until next weekend, Sunday at 5. Bye, Mom.